friends, I want to pop in here today and chat a little bit about community within the chronic illness, but specifically adrenal disease community. This last weekend, I had the opportunity to travel to Colorado to represent the National Adrenal Diseases Foundation at an event that allowed me the opportunity to spend 48 hours with somebody else who also has Addison's disease. This individual, Heidi, is someone who initially reached out to the National Adrenal Diseases Foundation like 4 years ago. And I was the person on the receiving end of the phone call and offered patient support and help. And since then, they have become an ADF volunteer support group leader, active in their community, getting their employers involved in supporting and donating to the National Adrenal Diseases Foundation, which is what brought me out there. And while there was so many things involved with this weekend, the thing that I really want to focus on or talk about today is that importance, the importance of having the opportunity to physically be with somebody with the same condition as you. I have had Addison's disease for 8 years, and in those 8 years, I've talked to tons, hundreds, thousands, many people with Addison's disease, but I've never spent more than an hour physically with someone who has the same condition as me, Addison's. But this event allowed 48 hours with an individual who has Addison's. We all know how incredibly validating and important it is to connect with other people who understand some of the challenges that we've been through. You can have empathetic or compassionate friends or family or coworkers or environments all around you, but unless someone's actually gone through what you've gone through to the same degree, it's really hard for them to actually understand where you've been. So of course that was incredible, but here's some of the amazing things that happened. And if you watch any of my shorts, you've probably seen me gush about this already. But some of the incredible things that I noticed thanks to being with someone who has Addison's over that time period. Number one is that we were constantly reminding each other to take our medication. Sure, we all have these hacks or alarms or pill caddies or all these things that are supposed to help us remember to take our pills, but when we're low cortisol, that brain function isn't necessarily functioning. So we were checking in with each other, when someone's alarm would get off. Did you take that? Did you take that 5? Did you take your 10? And having someone have your back on that was really safe. We also were able to share medication, which is not something that you advertise or say or do anything, but we're on the same brand, we're on the same steroid replacement, hydrocortisone. And there was some circumstances where one of us had our pills on us, the alarm went off, and the other person was like, oh, I'll have to take it later. And then the other one was like, or you could just take it right now. We have the exact same life-saving medication. So that was really incredible. Our pill times were the same times, just coincidentally, our alarms or our notifications are going off at the exact same time. So we could check in with each other about taking it. Allowing and expecting rest and recovery time between things, and really communicating, checking in where we were and how we could handle the next thing, where our energy levels were at. It was very easy to communicate needs because the other person had similar needs or was aware of the needs that could arise. And just overall not having to explain anything. The brain fog, the pain, the fatigue, the low cortisol symptoms, it just all was understood. These all seem like little tiny, maybe almost even, they may not seem important, but I read a quote today and I'm going to get it wrong, but somebody said, to be seen is to be loved. Something along those lines is what it comes down to, is being seen by someone, really seen, because they have been in your shoes or are in your shoes, felt very supportive. This is all great and wonderful, but The issue is that so many of us, not just Addison's, but with chronic conditions, the majority of our community is virtual and online, which is fantastic. And I'm going to chat about that in a second. But it's so rare for us to have the opportunity to physically be with somebody who also has the same condition as us, because it's either rare, we're all spread out, we do not have the ability, the functionality, the financial ability to connect with those other people. So on that note, there are tons of conferences, events, communities, fundraisers, organizations for all spectrums of conditions, disabilities, all across the country and outside of the country. But my first thing is to encourage you to explore, not just those with Addison's, if you are hungry for that community, the physical community, to research those organizations, those groups, those communities in your area, or to see when conferences or events are popping up in your area, because those things tend to pop up more frequently than I think people realize. So that's the first thing I would suggest. Find local support groups. That's another amazing thing. If you can find a local support group in your area and physically meet with individuals who understand what you're going through or are going through what you go through, then you can establish relationships outside of that and continue to develop those. And then there's the great way of connecting through social media, through YouTube, through all these platforms that we have where you can develop these relationships and maybe have the possibility to meet outside them. I'm hoping in the future to do more of that, because I've connected with so many of you all across the country, all across the world, and finding more opportunities to physically connect outside of just the virtual component. But aside from that, I do want to emphasize how important and validating the virtual groups are as well, because sometimes we don't have access, or sometimes we're bedbound, sometimes we cannot venture out into the world. So these virtual environments, these virtual communities, these virtual support groups or social media platforms may be the only place where we see and talk to other people with our conditions. So if you are not already in a support group for one or all of your conditions, highly recommend exploring and doing that. It's really accessible with social media to search. Well, things are always changing the algorithm, but you can search hashtags at this point and explore specific conditions or disabilities using that, allowing you to connect and see other people and chat in real time. And then looking into nonprofits and organizations that focus on your condition or your centered around diseases similar to yours is a great way to find support groups as well. I can't highly recommend enough the National Adrenal Diseases Foundation support groups. They've got support groups all across the country, facilitating virtual meetings. Some of them are meeting in person. You can reach out NADF support at nadf.us to inquire if there's a support group in your area. And or virtual ones that you can join. They have a support group that meets virtually the third Thursday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you could literally join from anywhere. But the connection and communicating with people who have your condition is really, really, I find, very healing, very therapeutic, very comforting, and just easy. It's so easy to connect with somebody who understands. And I probably didn't even need to emphasize all this or explain this, because if you're here and watching this, that's because you're also hungry for that. That is literally why I started this YouTube channel all those bajillion years ago when I was diagnosed, is because I didn't see anyone with Addison's disease. This was like before I really understood social media, not that I really understand it, but I just wanted to be out there because I wanted someone to find me and connect with me. And then that's led me to all of you and all the other people I connect with. It led me to NADF and given me the opportunity to connect and chat with others. So this is just, wow, it was super great to hang out with someone with Addison's disease, but it's also a reminder, find your community where you can. If you need help, I'd be happy to help you find some community support groups. And if you have Addison's, say hi, because then, hey, another new friend with Addison's disease. But as always, thanks for being here. Light and love, all the spoons, and I hope you have a wonderful day.